Hello, everyone. Welcome back to FPL Jedi Show. We have returned back from international break, very well rested after the international break last week. So my name is Hafiz, and definitely would like to welcome Azmin to the show. How's your break? You're on mute, Min?
Yeah, definitely enjoying my break, forgetting the basics again. Yeah. I guess work caught up with me quite a bit, so was glad that I didn't have to spend. I had some spare time and not worry about FPL. And but yeah, I still tried to monitor some of the international matches, although I didn't really watch anything. Just some highlights here and there, and a lot of commentary on Twitter, of course.
All right. Also, would like to say Salam Ramadan to all Muslim because I think last week we are not live, okay, but the Ramadan was last Thursday, so it's coming already our 7 days of fasting, right? It's definitely going to be tiring in terms of working and so on, but the show must go on, right, mate? Okay.
Yeah, I'm still yawning. Macam buat
Uh,
masuk sahur.
yeah. But the most I think what happened during the international break, man, I think there are two things that we want to highlight first. Okay, it's the announcement of double game week 34, of which the fixture that means in game week 28 will all be played in game week 34. 16 will double that week.
Mm.
We definitely will walk through in details later. Okay, and the second one, I don't know whether it's a surprise or not. Antonio Conte has been sacked or leave with mutual consent from Spurs. So, what you can make out of these two significant news, man?
Well, the double game week does have an impact in terms of those. A lot of people who already executed the wildcard just needs to plan their way around it. But those who still have the wildcard, like myself, and a lot of people who are actually planning doing on game week 33 with a to bench boost the following week,
Yep,
something like that.
yep, yep.
Yeah, so that's quite it does have an impact, and you really have to study, and especially and for those who have a wild card or a free hit is even more that planning is even more crucial now.
Yeah, yeah. So Azmin and myself would definitely different strategy because I already wildcarded, and my plan for game week 29, like I think most majority of the community, is to bench boost this week. Although the game week 34, maybe some trying to like flatter whether you want to actually delay your your bench boost decision to game week 24 is another decision that you're gonna make. But I think Azmin, I think spoiler also for everyone, Azmi is looking up to wildcard for this week, right?
Yep. The wildcard I switched it on a couple of days into the international break and just tried to draft, but it was quite hard drafting it.
Right.
But never mind. We'll take a look at that.
Yeah. I think it's important also to highlight to everyone, this will be the last 10 game weeks or 10 weeks for the season. So it means that all in right now, left with 10, you cannot, if you have already a target that you set, then you have to really to plan from now until the end of the season because the whole plan is already here. Later we share. We go through first the talking points for definitely for this show, mean, which is we run through a quick one in game week 28, how we perform, all right, and then just a quick stock check in terms of the top performers after game week 28. So we shall see the different players from each department who actually on top right now. And then we have a look at the fixture from 29 to 38 when we taking into account the FA Cup quarterfinal result, who actually resulted game week 32 blank, and then announcement and game week 34 announcement fixture. And then we have a look at the key players to target for this. We can call it the big double game week, man, because 12 team going to double this week. And then we have a look at the so-called the ideal bench boost team for this week. I actually take a snapshot from live FPL. We can run through later. The captain pick for this week. and the transfer plan that we're going to make. Obviously, Azmin is already on wildcard. Okay, I would like to welcome Rakan FPL to the show.
Hey,
Selamat berpuasa and welcome. All right, man. I think between two of us, game week 28, you're actually the more happier because the different of us because you captain Saka for that week, man.
yep. So if you remember, 2 game weeks ago, I was on 1.5 plus million, and in game week, and then in game week 26, I jumped to about 1.1 million, only to drop back to game week 27 to 1.3 million, only to recover that back to 1.1. So yeah, I'm glad I managed to recover from that drop and recover quite significantly to the point I was almost back to where I was in game week 26. And obviously the main man was Saka, the right captaincy, and scoring significantly more than most of the other options. Yeah,
Yep, you
so
got it right.
yeah, and the thing is, like 2 weeks ago, it was the case of, taking advantage of those who didn't have Salah. And because I had it wildcarded, as a result, I still kept my Liverpool, Salah and Darwin anyway. But this game week was really just a case of finding the right captain. I think most of us, without the captain, we scored almost, not too far off. So yeah. But Saka, for those who captain Saka, it made a big difference. Okay, so looking at that, so Salah, yeah, so I was on 10 players in the end because Saliba didn't play. So originally I was thinking of actually transferring out Saliba and bringing in someone at Trossard, but to do that would have mean I went to -8. In the end, I didn't do that. I tried to do 11 players, but in the end, Saliba failed to recover. And in fact, seems to be, it might be quite serious there in terms of his injury. I haven't checked, but that's the last I heard. But most of my players didn't really perform, although James did perform better than Chilwell as for 1 week. But guess what? He got injured again in the international break. But it's fine because I was dead ending the team anyway. Other than that, the only one of note, okay, sure, Watkins got a bit, but James Ward-Prowse finally came.
Oh, JWP.
Yeah, so he was the supporting act to Saka. Yeah, no one else really of any interest, even with my keeper scoring 0. So yeah, but still, yeah. So if you look at that, I got 2 players who scored 0. Nacho, who only came in as a sub, but thanks to Saka, it was a huge rank rate.
Yep. I'm happy for you, bro. 63 points. If I'm not mistaken, the average point right 47 or something like that. Okay, so you really have got the right captaincy. That's the most important thing. I didn't go for Saka, right? Because I'm not sure, but you're more optimistic. And for me, Saka has disappointed me somewhere. I forgot the week that Arsenal played Bournemouth and Saka did not perform. So that's another thing that why I did not trust Saka. But kudos to whoever captaining Saka. I think he's actually the right choice. Thinking back, because Crystal Palace, who has missed out in terms of his manager, which is Patrick Vieira, has been sacked, and now Roy Hodgson has already taken over as the new, I don't know whether interim manager and so on until the end of the season at least, right? So that's the situation. So 6 points, good for you, man. And for my team, I got only 48 points. The difference definitely because I captaining the default captain for the week. Everyone gonna captain Kane, all right? After his thing brace against Forest, 13 points, we still remember. But this is an away game to Southampton, who actually maybe at the 19th or 20th place at that point, we thought Southampton can be leaky also. They did actually, because the final result is actually 3-all. Okay, but Kane only scored 1 and did not have any bonus, because the likes of JWP got the bonus point because he scored. Okay, and other Southampton players and even Spurs player. So that's pretty much the week I'm having. I'm dropped from 13k to 17k now. I'm still optimistic. I want to actually push inside 10k, like Azmin mentioned. Hafiz try to push inside 10k, but I want to target more than that, man. If can further
No, that's
I
your
think
first step. The first step is to get to 10K, and then yeah. So for me, if you look back at my team, for me, my first step is to get into the 1 million. But
okay.
I at the moment, based on a realistic finish would be under 500,000. But if I can get to 100,000, but which really
Oh,
needs having the right captain every week and having good transfers. Yeah, so I'm not ruling it out. I think it's still possible because if game week 25, game week 26, and game week 28 have reminded me that you can climb fast if you have the right picks.
yep, correct. So optimistic for the 10 weeks. It's like every
Yes.
game week is a final week for you. I mean, okay,
Yeah.
strictly like final, right? So I just read out my team. Kepa only 1 point, Raya 2 points. So maybe Raya is actually the better keeper, but Chelsea concede 2 goals against Everton. So I don't want to say much on that. Okay, I thought a clean sheet can come in. That's why people who actually bring in Chilwell, like you mentioned, only
Yeah.
got 1 point. All right, instead of the most like they're replacing Henry, who actually scored 2 points here. So 1 point better than Chilwell. Okay, at least for this week. Gabriel disappointed, no clean sheet for Arsenal, 2 points. Trippier, Botman also no clean sheet for Newcastle. Yet again, only 2 points each. Odegaard, since I brought him in, okay, the Norwegian midfielder has not producing anything for me, man. I don't know what to say. And he looks like going to be out from my team for game week 29. Right, Rashford yellow flag. I'm not sure whether he's yellow flag again. Saka 80 points. So I might actually maintain him. Kane 12 point because of captaincy. Watkins and assist. I brought Watkins in for Haaland.
Mm.
At least an assist. Okay. And then Tony, he's definitely on the chopping block. Only 2 points. Okay, he's on 9 yellow cards in game week 29. I might actually retain him, but we shall see. Okay, man. So that's the team review for it. Let's have a quick look at the top performer, man. After game week 28, the last 10 game weeks is going to be in until the end of the season. But at least we have a look at the top goalkeeper, man. Right now, it's actually David Raya. Okay, I had him at the beginning of the season. I had him as my keeper. He's at 4.5, now at 4.9. He is the top highest scorer in terms of goalkeeping. 120 points, 1 point more than Ellison at 119. And then we have the likes of Ramsdale, Pope, and Sa, which is not so popular. Maybe Pope, 21%, still high, consider the rest of it. But Raya is the one. Okay, there is no Kepa in this is, but we all know Kepa only start like almost the second half of the season, right?
Yeah.
Then in terms of defenders, man, okay, just quickly on the overall, Trippier, we already know he's the number one defender with 154, 30 points more from the Arsenal defenders. The next 2, 3, and 4 is actually from Arsenal. Gabriel, White, and Saliba. And then after that, Ben Me. So Trippier, MVP for this season, definitely one of the, if not the player of the season. Okay. And in terms of midfield, man, Saka is the one with 170 points. I think like we had before, like KDB, we talk about Rashford, Salah, Saka is really on the moon right now. He's the highest top scoring midfielder. And then in terms of forward, Haaland and Kane still dominate the top
Yeah.
two forward. If not, and even actually the top two in terms of overall points, man. So what you can sum up in terms of top performing that we should take note?
I find it interesting that Ben Mee is there in the top defenders points. It's something that totally didn't expect to see. Raya definitely because in terms of how the defense plays, Raya will always have a lot of saves as well. So, but he's definitely a quality keeper there. And yeah, but when you look at the keepers, you've got Ramsdale, Popes, even Sa is there. So you would show that at least in terms of points, even though they're not getting enough results, but he's getting the points, with the save penalties, it's just saves and bonus points. So credit to them there. In the midfields, yep, 3 out of 5 Arsenal players, and it's quite telling. All of them are not expensive. All of them are very affordable, and I bet if you were to look at the since the restart, you would think Trossard would probably be up there as well in terms of points and his consistency. So yeah, so it just goes to show that there are plenty of options that they don't. This season, it seems like you don't have to go for always all the expensive players. There's plenty of cheap players, and if you look at the forwards, same thing. You got Tony, although to be fair, Haaland and Kane are very far from everyone else. Significant, 40 almost 40 points away. Separates Kane and Tony, for example. It's just that it's just that right now you would think that you don't necessarily have to have both of them because there's plenty of points to be had elsewhere. But you see the how far the gap, and we're reverting to what we saw in previous seasons, where the lack of quality forwards. We arguably we thought that we at the start of the season, the first 10 weeks or so, there were plenty of forwards. For Mitrovic, the likes of Mitrovic, all vying for attention. Gabriel Jesus. But now it seems that we're normalizing back to what we usually see, which forwards are at a premium and the midfielders are still the ones paving the way.
Yeah. So, like you mentioned, there is Arsenal players are dominating in this top five of table. 3 Arsenal defenders there, 3 midfielders there, even Ramsdale in the top 3 in terms of goalkeeping. So Arsenal really performed this season. But I think the question later we definitely want to go in details because Arsenal after this will not have any more double game week moving forward. So yes, we know they have been scoring points, but there will be a dilemma, when decided, say, like your team gonna wildcard, right? Whether we gonna fill out with all these Arsenal players, or we going to actually need to look at really on the players who are actually going to have double moving forward.
Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good. Arsenal definitely fighting, and it shows in the FPL points that they want to win the league. And but let's remember that Arsenal still have Europa as well. They're still playing that one, so we'll see how it goes.
Arsenal already lost, man. They already don't
They
have.
lost. They're out.
They
They're out.
lost.
So
So
I
they
forgot.
really will focus on lead the
Yeah.
league, man.
So the other team will also focus, but on getting a top 4 spot. Liverpool.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, all of other Arsenal competitors are still fighting for other areas. Manchester City, Manchester United, they're all still involved in Europe.
Yeah. Okay, man. Let's go to the current state fixture, man. 29-38. I lay out here, man. Actually get the plan from Brian Krellin if you want to see or actually know this in terms of planning. Okay, Brian Krellin is the one that we should look at. So actually extract from his planner, and here from 29 until 38, I just do a summary of the fixture coming up. We already know game week 29 mean 12 team will double. So the yellow one is the team who going to play double this week. All right. And then 30th and 31 most probably will be single weeks. But on game week 32, 4 teams will blend, which is Brighton, Chelsea, Man City, and Manchester United. That's the tricky one. If let's say we want to navigate game week 32, the rest will have a game. And then on game week 34, 6 teams will play double, which Manchester United, Liverpool, Man City, like I mentioned, 32, Man City and Manchester gonna miss the game, but 34 they're gonna have the extra game. Brighton, West Ham, and Fulham. Okay, so that's 34, 35, and 36. They most probably the Newcastle versus Brighton game, who actually has been postponed somewhere game week 25, will likely play in this game. There is rumors before this that maybe this game will play somewhere in 30th and 31st, but in terms of likelihoodness, I think even Ben actually put here that game most probably will play in game week 36, not earlier. I think we will know further at least before this week game week deadline. And then on the 37, okay, we have the fixture of Man City, Manchester United, Brighton, and Chelsea, who has been postponed in 32 to be brought forward in 37. So this most likely will be the fixture for the rest of the season. So what you can make up of this?
So the crazy bit about I just look at immediately go jump to 37. 37 is the one of those dangerous weeks where you think a lot of teams will may start playing some um, bench players. They just want to run out.
Yeah. Or the
This
team who actually already nothing to target, right? Okay.
nothing to target for. But if the league goes on as it is, you would think that all those four teams who are playing doubles in game week 37 might possibly all have something to fight for. They Brighton, who are
Yep.
we are very popular with FPL players right now. Then you have Chelsea, who are also still fighting. Then you have Manchester City and Manchester United. So it's crazy, but it's definitely lots of fun.
Okay, man, I just want to touch a bit, okay, in terms of Brighton, okay, they're going to have a lot of double game weeks coming up because they have been missed a lot of game, and plus the 32 not going to play. That's why Brighton going to play double in 29. They're going to play double in 34, and they're going to be double in 36. 36 and 37, right? Okay, so really a lot of feature, and looks likely, I don't know, logically we should have three Brighton players in our team anyway, man. What do
Yeah,
you think?
yeah, yeah. Because for one thing, they're not involved in Europe either. I think, and they can focus. And 32 is being blank is probably a bit of a blessing for them, so they can relax a bit because after 32, they're going to be really packed the schedule there. They would have the most after 33 onwards. Brighton have the most packed schedule among all the Premier League teams. They have the most matches of all the Premier League teams, and which is why when a lot of you guys who wildcarded in 25, was it 26?
36,
Yeah.
yeah.
So one of the reasons went for triple Brighton, or at least double, was because of this, because we expected that this would happen, and it has now happened. So yeah, even regardless of the fact that they blanked last game week, they didn't play last game week, but they're worth keeping for this whole crazy stretch of matches. And given the form that Brighton are in, yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, just want to touch a bit. People or managers who are actually in my position already work at 36, and we actually planning to bench boost in 29. Okay, you can see that the cheap strategy is play bench boost 29, and then load up with all these players, and don't worry about the blank game week in 32, because the plan for us is to free hit in 32 and fill out all these players, and don't worry about the blank, and then focus on the 34 double game week and the rest. That's why like
Yeah.
three Brighton players is the more common that people going to target. The Manchester United player, you do not need to worry if you load up, because the 32, if you have free hit, you can actually use that, and don't worry, and keep the Manchester United fixture, because 34 they double and 37 they're going to double. So most probably people will jump into Manchester United asset, like three players. Man City also, right? One of the popular later, yeah, maybe now only Haaland, but who knows? The likes like Edison, right, man? Or any defender, Grealish, Foden, if they fit, they could be an option moving forward Inter and Man City. So not now, but later, this Manchester United, Man City will definitely be the target. And Liverpool.
Yeah. So that 32 does pose a bit of a challenge for people like me who don't have their free hit, but that is something that you're just going to have to plan, and be ready for. Because if you look at the teams who don't play in that week, Brighton, Chelsea, maybe not City, but Manchester United, 3 or 4 of them are quite popular. With now, as in Chelsea now have the likes of Chilwell coming in, to add to people who already have Kepa. Yeah, then you have Manchester United with their Shaws and Rashfords. So yeah, that is a bit tricky, but yeah, we can navigate that.
I also do a quick research, man, because usually we have FA Cup final somewhere 37, right? Usually lah, right? They do it before or actually in the season. But actually for this year, the FA Cup will only played after the
After,
whole
yeah,
year. So we
no
do not need
choice, no
to worry.
choice. Yeah, they have to do that.
So we don't worry on that. But just to remind, the Champions League match is actually sandwiched there between 30th to 31st and 31st to 32, game week 32. So means that people like thinking of bringing the Chelsea assets or maybe whoever is still involved in European competition, right? Man City, you will think there is possibility, I don't know, rotation somewhere there. So it really play in our mind that I can see.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, and that's why it makes you wary about picking up City assets, yeah, because we do know that the Champions League is the one trophy that City that Pep under the City under Pep have yet to taste, and you would definitely think that they're not going to afford to discount that one.
Okay, man, we already discussed really detail here, and we shall see. Focus on game week 29, man. This is the 12th team. They're going to play twice or double this week. And then sorted out based on so-called difficulty. And Leicester and Forest looks like they turn out to be those two best team to have good fixtures, so-called. Because Leicester have Crystal Palace and Villa, all right? And then Forest have Wolves home and Leeds away, which is not bad on paper, right? Okay, and then Brighton definitely people are going jump into to the three assets, the 3M they call it, Mitoma, March, McAllister. You can choose whichever that you want, and you should not go wrong from there, right? But in terms of um, Chelsea is somewhere there also, even though they have two home fixtures, they were going to face Liverpool. In terms of Newcastle, they're going to face Manchester United at home. It's still tough, although after that away to West Ham. And then we have Manchester United, pretty much also a tough fixture, right? If you consider Newcastle and Brentford, who actually have been good of late, especially the likes of Tony and so on still around. But the two teams there, even though double mean the top two bottom, which is Brentford and Liverpool. Brentford play Brighton away and Manchester away. So as Liverpool, the toughest one, City away and Chelsea. What do you think, man?
Yeah. Yeah, well, Liverpool can pretty seem to be able to win the game against the big guns. We saw that only to give all the points back to the poor. So yeah. I mean, looking. I mean, you mentioned just now Manchester United. You're right. Those matches aren't that easy. They're playing against Newcastle at St James Park, and they're playing against Brentford, who there's a reason that we're not just picking them because of the doubles, although that is a plus. But the reality is the likes of Tony is still there, and he's a definite threat. And let's not forget Manchester United are still without Casemiro. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's also but apparently Ericsson might be fit, so that's good news for Manchester United. So hopefully that will also help Bruno, because right now there's a lot of dilemma on whether or not to bring Bruno in for an Arsenal player. Uh, so that's something that ongoing debate. But we did see that Bruno has been playing a bit deeper, yeah, in the absence of Casemiro. But he's still a threat, so you can't discount him completely. Okay, so you got Leicester, yeah, Madison and Barnes, of course, the main player. But Nacho has not been doing well, but his underlying stats are not bad. There's still some threat there. But now, given that in terms of production, he hasn't scored, so you would think that he's at risk of rotation if Rogers tries something different and trying to see how it fits back well. One thing for West Ham, you mentioned Ben Rama Bowen, but you haven't got Ings in there. I wonder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
Ings up things. I mean, they will play. Is it? Yeah, Southampton's a former club.
Yep. Yep. Correct.
So I don't know. Yeah. The problem is because he's not taking penalties, and Ben Rama appears to be
Yep.
the man for penalties. Yeah, and yeah. So Brighton, MMM, yeah, fine. Yeah, although there is a risk with McAllister. The thing is, March is the one who's completely rested. He didn't play any, so he's
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mitoma's traveling back from Japan, and McAllister's coming back from South America. But Mitoma has played his match. I'm not sure. I don't think McAllister
Yeah.
has yet, or has he played already? But the problem is that McAllister is coming from a later time zone, so he'll have uh, uh, less rest time. So you would think McAllister would be a bit trapped. He might at the very most start on the bench, I would think. Yeah.
Okay. Min, just have a look at this fixture, Min. Which team do you think entice for managers to bring in if you want to consider the fixture or even the players? What do you think? Because you already
Consider
said some of the fixture are
consider
tough.
yeah. Consider what? Bringing in.
Bring in which player, if let's say, to target for at least for this week.
Okay, if you're just looking at this week, I wonder if uh is Brandon Johnson fit?
Yeah, I think so because he actually out of nowhere play last game week, right?
So
Game week
if he's
28.
fit, then definitely something against Wolves as well as Leeds. Yeah. So then but of course, um uh, there's still plenty of options elsewhere. The thing with, I mean, for example, Newcastle, Isaac seems to be one to get, but then they are playing Manchester United, so which could be tough. But I think he can score. Manchester United aren't that great at keeping clean sheets at the moment, anyway. Although they win, and Chelsea, the thing with Chelsea is that once again we seem to be focused on the defense, which is Chilwell and Kepa. There's a lot of talk and Havertz and Felix, but there's a lack of confidence there, don't you think? Yeah, can they be consistent? It looks like Havertz is doing a lot more, but will he be able to do it when it matters for us, when we start picking him as players? So that's always a big doubt there.
Yeah, you know what happened when we pick them, right?
Yeah. Aston Villa, I just want to mention, although we got Watkins and Buendia highlighted there, but one thing, Cash is out. I think Cash is quite important to that, to the attack, especially as one of the fullbacks running forward. So I don't know if that has an impact, but it could.
Okay, man. Pretty much people are talking about the right combo of striker up front. You did mention Havertz. You did mention Isaac. People already on board on Watkins. So those are the options. Okay. Isaac did score 2 goals before this, right? And then in midfield, the likes of Brighton and Said people will attract. Madison, even people talking about Bruno, Rashford if they fit, right? I'm not sure Salah could actually be an option, man, right? But I don't know. On paper, it's a tough fixture.
It's a tough picture, but yeah, we can see what Liverpool can do, regardless. But then they're just not consistent, so that's the biggest problem.
Yeah. Okay, man. Let's go to bench boost draft. I actually take this from live FPL, of which they actually drafted like ideal bench boost team for this game week 29. Of which we can see the combo of Navas and Kepa, right? Kepa has 2 home game week, home game, and then to be fair, Forest has decent fixture, Wolves and Leeds. Then we have the likes of Shaw and Chilwell. They definitely are good in terms of attacking. Estupinan, hopefully he can make it back from the Australian game, right? And then we have Rashford, Bruno Fernandes combo there. Much is in there, partnering with Mitoma in bench, right? Saka is the single game week player there, all right? And then Havertz, Haaland, if he's fit, if not, Kane could be there. And Tony play double. And then we have Castania and Trippier on bench. Man, looks like really good team if in terms of bench boosting. What your comment, man, in terms of this?
Yeah, I guess the only issue I had there is Castagna. I don't think he fits in there, but everyone else is fine. So you got 3 Brighton players, 3 Manchester United players. But Haaland, yeah, I guess you don't want to bet against Haaland. Could still pull it off. Tony, hang on, let me
Yeah,
just.
Tony, yeah.
Haaland, who does Haaland play in?
Liverpool. At home.
Sorry, yeah, of course, that's right. Sorry. Okay, so Haaland fine because one match, and yes, definitely Liverpool are no longer popular defensively, so definitely the potential in scoring a lot is there regardless, but Tony is the risk. He has 9 yellow cards, so he
Okay.
becomes a single match player, and his first match against Brighton, who aren't pushovers either. So they might Tony might get frustrated and end up carded. But yeah, I I know that's not what you guys want to hear. I think most of you who wild carded early before the break all have Tony in your team. So yeah, but that is a risk. You can't deny that's a risk.
Yeah. I mean, if let's say you have option to bring in
Mm.
one of the Harvards or Isaac or Watkins because their price is more or less in the same range, who do you favor and looking at the fixture? Watkins play both away, Harvards play both at home, but Isaac play Manchester United.
It's just that Watkins has been the one in better form, more consistent. He's a lot more consistent. So yeah, I'll probably go for Watkins.
Okay.
Although I may not have him in my wildcard draft at the moment. Yeah, but that's due to a lack of space rather than not bad. But if you're given the choice between Watkins and Havertz, I'll probably pick Watkins.
All right, Finn. We shall see the game week 29 fixture, before we actually headed to our team later. So we already know 12 team gonna double. The teams, the likes of okay. I just ran through on Saturday. Gonna have early kickoff 7:30. The big one, Man City versus Liverpool. Okay, Liverpool going. Man City versus Liverpool. Okay, all right. And then at 10 p.m. we have Arsenal versus Leeds United. Okay, Arsenal going to play only single game week this week, but it's actually against Leeds United. All right. And then we have Bournemouth versus Fulham, both London derby. We have Brighton against Brentford, both eyeing for European places. Crystal Palace hosting with the new manager Roy Hodgson at the helm against Leicester, who actually really need points. And then Forest against Wolves. We then have midnight game at Saturday, Chelsea versus Villa at home. Chelsea only managed to get a draw last week. And then we have on Sunday, West Ham versus Southampton, another London derby. Newcastle versus Manchester United, another big game, before Everton versus Spurs. Spurs who already lost Conte, but Everton really good at home, as we know. And then in midweek, we have doublers, okay? Bournemouth versus Brighton, Leeds, Forest, Leicester, Villa, Chelsea against Liverpool, another big team in midweek. Then we have Manchester United, Brentford, and West Ham Newcastle. That's a really packed fixture coming up this week,
Yeah, so it's a lot to go for. Obviously, it's the reason why most FPL managers chose to bench boost for this week. So definitely there's a lot of opportunity. At the same time, there's a lot of tempting single gamers as well, and especially the biggest case in point that has been causing a lot of dilemmas to this week is Arsenal. Dropping Saka, dropping Odegaard, dropping Martinelli. It's all very hard. So it's not straightforward. You're trying to decide whether it's called because let's face it, the reality is Arsenal are fighting for the title and they are scoring goals and scoring points while they're doing it. So and now we got Jesus who should be very good, but it does cause problems in trying to figure out how they're gonna line up. Especially with Trossard was also in good form. I would think that Jesus will continue to be on the bench first. So simply because you don't shake out a winning team. I think that's how Arteta's mentality is. But the fact remains that the impact of minutes is suffering is there. Yeah, even though he may keep with the key first team, but substitutions become even more present. I'd like to quickly talk about Liverpool, who happen to have 2 double games as well. One thing with Liverpool is which makes it even more tougher is that Luis Diaz is back, and together with Jota, it becomes very hard to figure that out. Which is why most people will just, if they're looking at the attacking lineup, they just default to Salah, just easy pick because he doesn't have any competition on his side, whereas the other sides are piling up. as players return from injury. And let's not forget, Firmino still is around too, serving out his last season, so you'd expect him to make an impact. But otherwise, it just makes it hard. And when you look at the timer, it looks obviously that Brighton appears to have the best. Followed probably by, actually, I was going to say Manchester United, but not really. It's not as easy as it looks. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Leicester's matchup looks better actually because they play Crystal
Yep.
Palace, and then Aston Villa, which is not a easy matchup, but they're playing it at home. So yeah, I think Leicester's matchup looks better.
Okay, that's why in terms of fixture, that Leicester is actually on top. So, I mean, definitely it's the dilemma in terms of Arsenal player. You did mention people like me who have three Arsenal players. We are look very likely to going to drop this Arsenal player and get the double game week players. But we could be punished again. Like, is it game week 27? Where Brighton and Brentford double, and we've been punished because
Ah,
Gabriel did
you benched the Arsenal players. That's right.
so it could happen again if we actually take out. But so be it. I think that's the thing that you just need to do. Okay, man.
Yeah.
Quickly on the captain pick, man. All right. Because of double game week fixture, Rashford is actually among the most voted as the best captaincy for this week. Without doubt, if he fits, 38% has voted Rashford. With Newcastle and Brentford, even though on paper we did mention it's a tough fixture, but Rashford, he has been consistent, to be fair. All right. Then Mitoma second from Brighton players. It could be any Brighton players, McAllister or even March, where in terms of fixture they are better. Brighton home against Brentford and then away to Bournemouth. And then Haaland third, but I don't put Haaland there because he playing single, but I put Salah just for us to talk about, even though it's tough fixture. And
Hey,
then with Madison, right? So what do you think, man? Is Rashford a clear winner in terms of captaincy for this week?
no, because you can't just say Salah is there just for someone to talk about. That's insulting. No, but all due respect, I do think that Salah has a chance of hauling as well. Because Liverpool are rested and their players are not involved in any more matches, so they'll be rearing. They need to fight for that fourth play spot, and hopefully dragging City down off the title. They might just do it on the way. But yeah, Rashford, assuming because the last news I had from him is that he was already on the pitch training like normal. So yeah, you would think that he'd be ready to come up, ready to
Okay.
play a starring role once again. Yeah, so yeah, it's got to be Rashford, isn't it? Yeah, even
Mhm.
Mitoma and March might be very tempting, especially March because he's the most well rested of the lot. But it, it's it's hard to pick, a form of captaining a Brighton player. It's there's some psychology at play there.
Okay, if I remember the reverse fixture, Man City Liverpool did win that game and Salah scored 2 goals, right, man?
Yeah, I didn't want to say it. Thanks a lot.
All right. Okay, man. I think we go to our team. What's the
Sure.
plan? And you are while cutting this week, right, man?
Yeah.
Okay, I show your
Well,
team first. Yeah.
okay. So this is my current draft. So obviously, there's some similarities to the template of the wildcarders. So you got Kepa, Ariza Balaga as the keeper, and just I'll just do it in terms of bench. So in the bench, I've put Edison in. It's probably not the best pick because, but the thing is because I'm not playing two Brighton keeper. I didn't. Yeah, I think Hafiz and I had a chat a few
Yep.
days ago, and he mentioned Steele might be a good option. But then I realized if I do have three Brighton attackers there, so that makes it harder. But I'll have to relook into that. And
But another thing, because you do not have free hit, and if let's say you pick Kepa and also still combo, you're gonna play. You do not have free hit, and you do not gonna have any keeper that week. That's another point.
yeah, that's the biggest point actually for me. So Edison may change to someone
Yeah.
else. Yeah, unless I'm confident I can survive, but I'm not at this point. Okay, so where am I? Yeah, so um, Shaw is my one Manchester United representative. I think he got sent off. For England, he didn't play the second match, so he's fine. Then Trippier, of course, and then Chilwell. I finally joined the club after avoiding him last week, which was but
Okay.
because that was dead end anyway, so it doesn't matter. So and now with James injured, yeah, it looks like Chilwell's going to be my option. So this is pretty
Yeah.
much following the earlier World Cup template. Salah comes in, and that's a key difference where I hope could really
Yeah.
have impact there, because if you look, I don't have a Bruno or a Rashford at the moment. Saka, okay, so I put captain as Saka, but I'm really undecided, to be fair. I really have no. I mean, I want to put March simply because he's well rested, but at the same time, Salah is the wizard who can go push goals out of nothing, except the fact that he's got two, by definition, very tough matchups on his hand. So Mitoma, March, and Ferguson are my three Brighton players, and I I do feel that Ferguson is going to be this season's
Okay.
Harry Kane, where he really bursts into the scene and becomes a valuable asset, both in terms of reality and FPL wise. I think this might be the time to do it. So Isaac comes in as well. So some of these players you look, because I'm also looking at them doubling in future game weeks as well, and also while also bearing in mind that trying to get enough players that do not blank on that game week where everyone else is free hitting. So
Yeah.
Nacho is sorry.
Yeah. I think with Salah and Trent on in your team, you're at least well planned ahead, especially in 34 later me,
Mm,
which is good. And also you can tackle the 32 blank.
true. Yeah. So bearing in mind that I'm not boosting, so that's my bench. So yeah, I mentioned Edison,
But
which
your plan
mentioned.
is definitely bench boosting somewhere 34, or right?
Yeah,
Is that right?
somewhere there. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm not the best of long term planning, but of course, what's key, if you notice, everyone is in the first team. I don't have any, you know, cheap players. Even Emerson, who's probably the cheapest of the bunch. No, actually, no. Ferguson is the cheapest of the bunch. So theoretically, Ferguson is the one who is he starting regularly, but I think he's done enough to replace Welbeck. I think Welbeck, he's great, but then he's just not a proper goal scorer. Ferguson seems to be coming into his own at the moment. So coming back to the bench, Martinelli, I can't not have another Arsenal player in there. I think even though they don't double, we've seen the possibilities as they chase for the title, they can score points. And I think Martinelli has really benefited from having Trossard around. And even if Trossard it starts getting benched again with Jesus coming back, we know that when Martinelli plays with Jesus, he does well as well. So yeah. Then you got and Emerson we mentioned earlier as a cheapie who also plays in that blank game week, and TAA who it's again in view of the double weeks, but at the same time he does not blank in that game blank game week that other teams are blanking, and that's why I put him. Although to be fair, he hasn't reached the heights, but I'm hoping this run in he can really push on and deliver the points.
I think your team is really fits the bill. I like the Chilwell, Shaw, Trippier definitely. Okay, the combo. At least if you have Edison, I think in but you're gonna have trouble in 32. So I think that keeper combo
I
you
need
will
to
need.
fix that. Yeah, I need to fix
Okay.
that. You're right.
Okay, I'm not sure, but I think if Red Shirt is fit, I think I'm going to try to fit him in somewhere. Maybe for Martinelli if I got the money. I'm not sure about Emerson. Maybe he's a starter right now. Okay, and it's a cheapy one, so at least. Yeah,
Yeah,
which
so if I go for Rashford, it'd be for Martinelli and move to a 3-5-2 and drop the Nacho spot into the bench. And that's something that I haven't decided yet. I need to figure that
uh,
out.
but at least Leicester gonna play double this week. Same like Manchester United. Uh, yeah. But moving forward, if let's say you need to get Haaland in, how's that plan gonna be? Say right.
Not gonna. I'm conscious of the fact that City will be fighting for the Champions League, and I
Okay.
wonder
Right.
with the Alvarez might see a bit more game time. So
Okay.
I'm okay to not. I have no plans to get in Haaland at this point.
All right. I mean, we shall see your final team, our in deadline stream. You still have time to think about it. I think let's go to my team. Okay. I just shared before that I'm going to activate my bench boost this week. I'm unlikely to consider the game week 34. It's a long way, game week 34, to be fair. And anything can happen. I don't think I can take it anymore because I wildcarded in 26 and planning 29 bench boost also. I'm really worried to be frank because there is international break somewhere in the middle some more. So there's a lot of risk. But thank God, I don't know. Hopefully Rashford, like you mentioned, already start in training, right?
Yeah.
And then the rest should be okay. If let's say my team is decent, I'm definitely gonna bench put this week. I'm gonna uh, get away this bench put chip and then concentrate the rest of the season and free hitting maybe somewhere in 32 and then just focus on the transfer. So that with that said, I'm gonna have like 11 doublers right now, okay, which I have Kepa in goal, Estupinan, Trippier, Botman, Henry. This been like since Wildcat 26. They have been in my team. They're gonna play double this week. I have Mitoma and March. Rashford, hopefully he fits. He's gonna play double this week. I actually had Tony and Watkins who are gonna play double anyway this week. The Kane one is something that consider, even though people did mention you might want to keep Kane because Kane did play Everton, but next week they're going to play two back-to-back home against Brighton and Bournemouth, and Kane could actually be a potential game week captain in 31. That's what people or community saying. But still considering maybe I could actually convert Kane to another doubler like I said or Havertz. That could be another opportunity, right? Or the in on my bench, Raya play double. Odegaard, Gabriel, and Saka. Arsenal, three players who are going to play single game weeks. So the plan is right. I have 6.8 million in the bank. I'm gonna do my two free transfer, which is Gabriel to Shaw, or it could be Chilwell. I'm still think which one the best. I don't know. I should be biased in Chilwell. Maybe Chilwell is the better pick, but Chilwell is at 6 million right now, and Shaw is slightly lower at 5.3, 5.2. Okay. Odegaard, most probably I'm going triple up in Manchester United asset, which is Bruno Fernandes. Maybe there is debate Bruno, Madison, or maybe Salah. But I think I just want to, I don't know. The default may be Bruno, but I would think Madison is also an option, but Leicester, I'm not sure Leicester, are they fire up and they can still produce medicine maybe, but medicine or not penalty, Bruno is. So that's another thinking that I'm thinking. So these are the option that I'm looking at, or maybe take a hit to bring in Harvard. So I said for Kane. I'm going to keep Sakami. So that's the only one single player that I'm going to keep. What do you think, man?
Yeah, because it's all about the good thing. You definitely have a chance to almost totally maximize your bench boost because you have two free transfers. So which enables you to deal with well to deal some of any possible injuries, which hopefully that won't be the case. Yeah, because you even though the Arsenal players aren't double gaming, but the potential for points is there regardless. Yeah, so I think it looks good. Even Kane, yeah, we don't know how the fallout's gonna be after losing the manager, but I don't think it's gonna impact him too much. I think he's just gonna carry on score goals like normal. Now, obviously, Everton did hold Chelsea to a 2-all draw last game week, but as long as Kane's the one scoring that and they draw, they can score three goals as long as Kane scores. And regardless, at the moment, Kane is the most formed player at Spurs at the moment. So I am interested to see if Son plays without Conte, maybe he can rediscover his old magic. I don't know. But it's not going to tempt me into picking him anyway because even at this wildcard stage, it's hard for me to consider Harry Kane when I'd rather have Arsenal players. if for as the single gamers. Yeah. So, but as it stands, most of you who have wildcarded Kane, yeah, Kane should do well this week regardless.
Yep. Okay. We shall discuss again our in deadline stream. Just a quick one man before we go to the question. This is the team in our FPI Jedi League. You can join us at league code Y1N8EH, of which we can see the league leaderboard. Kuala Lumpur City, Helmi Johari really run away after captaining Saka. Okay, this week he got, I don't know, this bunch of points here. Saka definitely, and he got Mings 12 point man. So you can see
Yeah.
that I'm at second place, like 40 plus point away. But we shall see. Kudos to Helmi. I think he's really had a good season right now. At third place right now, Paddy Pine still there. Uh, uh, and then Yara Spartans at fourth place down after Paddy Pine scored 50 points. Really close gap there. They actually scored the same point. Waku Waku FC, Fazal Jerat at fifth place. 1, 2, 3 go. Nama at sixth place, not far away from 1,800 point. Shafla Ditura, gift of the three gaps, AJ Roberts, and coming into the top 10 charity of football, man. So this our league, man.
Yeah. So firstly, I'm glad that you've kept Yara Spartans down. It's fine. But yeah, looking at that team having Ming, so I mean, in this game week where there very few were scoring points.
Double digit, yeah.
Yeah, I think yeah Mings. Then well, I fortunately had one myself, which was JWP. But other than that, it was really all about Saka. So yeah, so we see that scoring 73 points, which is more than 30 points
Yeah.
over you. So yeah, but interestingly, because Madison is there, and one thing with Madison, considering on the wild card, but I'm just so worried about his injury issues, and it's making me very cautious
Okay.
about going.
I
Obviously,
understand. That's another point.
yeah, he is very important for Leicester, but he's with all these injury issues he's been having of late. He's not. I'm not confident in picking him.
Right. So that's your the team. Number one, Kuala Lumpur City. He has Haaland in his team. Okay, and Kane. We shall see what his move. Whether he's gonna drop Haaland if let's say injured. Most probably he will do that. Okay. But Mendes is there. He might actually not get in Bruno Fernandes. Right. So we shall see.
Mm.
All right, let's go to the question main from Raka FPL as always, right? Which bench is better? BB. Oh, he's thinking of which player to come in. Martinelli, Saka, Zinchenko is Arsenal, or bring in the Madison as Turpinnan as who actually pay double.
I don't quite get this question. Is he taking? If you're transferring in Martinelli and Zinchenko, or you're transferring Madison and Stupinian, I guess, because it's
Yeah,
not so much
maybe
about.
actually he has Martinelli, Saka, Zinchenko,
Yeah,
and linking thinking bring in Madison or Stepinen as
yeah.
Turpinnan.
If you're doing some transfers to bring them in. Otherwise, if it's just that one, them they're in the first 11, someone which to put on the bench, it doesn't matter. Um, on the face of it, I like the first option better, even though it's only us all single gamers. I'm worried about Estupinan as to he might be benched for the first game. Yeah,
Okay.
and for Madison again, the injury issues I talked about earlier. I'm not confident.
All right, let's go continue with Arsenal question. He has Martinelli. Should he keep it or change to Madison, like you already mentioned?
Yeah, so that puts into context the first question. So yeah, I would probably keep Martinelli. I think he has a role to play and he
All
can do
right.
well.
Okay, I understand. So the third question also should self answer. You we favoring Bruno Fernandes, who actually cost more than Madison?
Fernandez, yeah,
Yeah.
take better potential, and Ten Hag seems to know what he's doing.
Okay. Next question, Shaw or Estepanen? Azmin, you mentioned Estepanen could actually miss the first game, but we are not sure, right, in terms of his.
Yeah.
Yes. But Shaw gonna play is well rested. I suppose he's been red-carded in first England game. He's not play second game.
Yeah, yeah, definitely Shaw for me. Yeah.
All right. So since we already answered, we want to bring in Shaw. Okay. Which asset should I sell? Is it Henry who play double or Zinchenko?
Henry, definitely Henry. Yeah.
All right. If we have head-to-head fight, okay, all right. You're talking about a different format, but still, which one better ahead of fixture? Bruno, okay, who has Newcastle and Brentford, or Harrison? Really differential, but Leeds facing Arsenal and then Forest at home.
I would still go for Bruno, even though I think the matchup is harder. It's just Harrison is, I don't know, it's quite. I feel that against Arsenal he will have no chance. But against Forest he might have something, but not enough. So I would still go for Bruno
Okay.
in in this particular question.
Another Arsenal question, Min. Okay, we already answered Martinelli to Malaysia, but how about Saka to Bruno? Saka only play one game, but Bruno play two games.
I'm having problems with this. I really am. Because when drafting my wild card, it was a case: do I want to bring Bruno in and with Saka? But although to be fair, I don't even have Rashford, so that's a different story. But
It's gonna be tough.
yeah, I can't. If I was in your position, I couldn't find. I couldn't. It's hard for me to find the balls to go Saka to Bruno, given Saka is in such good form. But to be fair, it is now in the end up having the international break. But I don't think that's going to stop him.
Okay, Min, let's go to question Kane versus Haaland, Min. If we have that, which one is better actually? If we have one, or actually, which one is better? Kane away to Everton, but Haaland we are not sure in terms of fitness. But if he fits, Min, what do you think?
I'd say Haaland. City are playing at home, and it's just that Haaland has the better supply line, and and as far as fixtures go, they're not starting the Champions League just yet.
Okay,
So once that, when do they start the Champions League?
I think somewhere 30th, after the 30th game, after game week 30. Sorry.
Yeah, so that's the 12th of April they start. So yeah, I go for Haaland here. He can play 90 minutes.
This question really related to me. I can, if let's say I just bring in one defender, which is the one, Shaw or Chilwell? My heart says Chilwell, man, but maybe actually Shaw the right pick. What do you think, man?
Speaking as a neutral party, I'd say go Shaw. Both Shaw and Chilwell take free kicks, admittedly, but Shaw is in a currently better team at the moment. Whereas Chelsea, they're still trying to figure out what their best 11 is. They got added quite a few players over the summer, and I don't see some consistency yet. Plus they're gonna concede against Liverpool anyway. So yeah.
But you know, I mean, I might actually in the end follow Chilwell. He could be influenced by two home games, and if let's say they concede, Chilwell could actually, I don't know, in the mix of returning and taking returns. I feel, but
We
Shaw
see.
also has the same potential. To be fair,
Yeah, but I think Chilwell's potential to score goals is probably a bit more than Shaw. Yeah,
yeah.
and it's helped by the fact that there's no consistent goal scorer in front of Chilwell. If you remember, at one point this was a problem a few seasons ago, and Chilwell and James were just taking turns to each score goals. So it seems to have reverted to this as well. But the fact that James has got injured again, it's up to Chilwell to carry the torch.
All right, man. We already ran through the question. Thanks for the question, Rakat IPL. We are come to the end of our stream. Would like to remind Game Week 29 will be on Saturday, 1st April at 6 p.m. Hopefully, we will be live on Saturday morning, inshallah. So, your last word, man.
Yeah, I just want to apologize to anyone watching or this live or watching later that I think I've been yawning throughout the stream because my body still hasn't adjusted to waking up early for Sawo, and not really
Yeah.
sleeping or getting
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
replacement sleep. So I'm sorry about that. Having
All right.
said that, the deadline show will be before Buka Puasa.
Ah,
so yeah, I think well, hopefully we can do that. But 6 to 7.
no,
Oh,
we'll do on the morning definitely, right?
yeah. It's just so, yeah. We'll do it in the morning. That's right. The deadline will be before Buka Puasa. So yeah.
All right, thank you guys for joining our stream. Okay, do hit the like button and support us and subscribe to our YouTube channel FPL Jedi Show, or follow us on our Twitter, Azmin at FPL_CP Jedi, or myself at Muhammad Hafiz Mo. All right, until then, see you again. Okay, may the force be with you. Take care. Bye bye.